Hi, Rick Patterson with the HandymanToolbox.com, talking to you today about how to repair sheetrock damage. And so what I've got here is a leak that happened over the office of a client of mine, and I've just installed brand new insulation into the walls, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in, tuck that away and get that out of the way. Do the same thing here. Now that's covered. Next thing I'm going to do is take out the screws that are left behind from the tear out, and go from there. Clean up everything that you have. The next thing you do is take out all the nails and or screws that you have from the tear out that's left over. You want to clean up the area, get it prepped and ready for the new installation. Anytime that you're working over your head, you want to make sure that you have the proper protection. One is eye protection and the other is a hat of some sort. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and put these on. Let me do this way. Don't rely on your glasses to, if you wear glasses, to provide that protection for you. Stuff can still get in the side or underneath. And so what you want to do is protect your eyes completely, and also protect your head as much as possible, especially when doing sheetrock over top of your head. Now when working over your head, you want to make sure that your ladder is facing the work itself and that you're not twisted. And so the first thing I'm going to do here is go ahead and take my cordless drill and get rid of these screws and make sure that everything's clean and ready to go. What I'm going to do here is remove all of the screws and nails that were left over from the tear out, and we'll go ahead and do that now. One tip here is when you're removing your nails and screws, if you run with a nail, you have two choices. You can either hammer it in all the way into the wood itself, or you can remove them. I prefer to remove everything, get the surface of the ceiling joists clean and clear. Now there's several ways of taking out nails. You can either go sideways like so and work them, or you can just go the regular way with it. Make sure that when you pull all the nails out, that you do not leave them on the floor where they could be stepped on. One tip here is when you're working in a corner like so and you can't get your hammer in, take it and just work it sideways until it's completely out. Okay, now that the surface there is completely cleared of all screws and nails, what I'm going to do now is make my measurements for my cut. Alright, so what I have here is what I call a square, and I'm going to find out how much area has been taken away, and if I go directly at 24 inches total, I'm going to be okay here. So I'm going to go ahead and make my mark at every strategic place until it's all squared up. Now, once I've made my marks, I'm going to go ahead and line up everything into a straight line, and I do that by matching up the marks on the wall at 2 points. So I'm matching up my 2 points there, and I make my line. Now I continue this all the way through, just matching up my lines from one point to the next. Okay, as you can tell, the tear out missed a stud. In order to get the sheetrock back the way it should be secured properly, you want to tie into the middle of a stud. So I'm going to have to move along to the next stud to find this. One way of doing this is take a tape measure, stick it inside, and then I'll know how far to go. And when it stops, I just make my mark. So the next stud is exactly 13 3/4 inch away. That's the outside. That's going to be the right side, my right side of the stud. So what I'm going to do here is go 13 1/2 or 13 3/4 mark. 13 3/4, make my mark right about there, and then I'm ready to go. Well, what you can do here with 13 3/4 mark that I've just made from to reach the right side of the ceiling joist, I'm going to add, and let's just do us a little bit of math here. My ceiling joist is 1.5 inches. I want to make the middle of that. That's going to be 3/4. So I'm going to make a 3/4 mark past the mark that I just made, and that will give me the middle of my ceiling joist. So there's the middle there. And now what's going to happen is that's where I'm going to make my mark all the way up 24 inches. That'll tell me where these intersect. That'll tell me the middle of the ceiling joist, hopefully. Now what you see here is I've made my 13 3/4 mark, and then I split the difference at 3/4 inch. That's half of the ceiling joist width, which is 1.5, so it's 3/4 inch. Past that, now this should tell me that this is the middle of my ceiling joist. And what I do here, again, is put my square up against the wall, and this gives me a straight line now. And what I do here is make my intersection just like so, and then I'm ready to go. Right there, and right there. So this tells me now where to make my cuts. So now I have my line that I'm going to make my cut. This should be the center of my ceiling joist all the way down, and then my cut where it intersects. So I'm going to take out this section right here, remove this completely, and this will give me a good secure fitting on the very end here for matching up with the same level that the sheetrock's at in the ceiling.